Hello, welcome to our video lesson for English 2. We are going to use World English 1, Unit 11. The objective of today's class is to talk about responsibilities using the present perfect tense. Very interesting. Now, before we start, let's brainstorm some chores. I know you don't see it, the word chores, but chores are some of the responsibilities you have at home. For example, clean the car or wash the dishes. We also have vacuum the floor and take out the trash. All these actions are called chores. Can you repeat chores? Excellent. Very good. Now, before we start, I want to tell you that I am so happy because my sister has taken my dogs for a walk. She has taken my dogs for a walk. And I am also very, very excited because I have just cleaned my house. I have just cleaned my house. Great achievement. Now let's look at our first sentence. The first sentence was, my sister has taken my dogs for a walk. Let's take a look at the red word has. When we create the present perfect, we're going to use has or have. In this case, we have my sister. So every time we have he, she, or it, we are going to use has. Now, and we also have the word in blue, the word taken. Taken is past participle, right? Taken comes from the word to take and took and now taken. If you don't remember, right, or maybe you have seen the word taken in this list, look at this. This is the irregular verb list. You can find it on page 185. So turn to page 185 and you will see the three columns, right? The base form, it's the first one. The simple past is the second one. And then we have the past participle. For this lesson, in the present perfect, we are going to use our third column, but we're going to call them past participle. Very good. Now, this is how we create the present perfect. First, we use the subject over here. Then we use has or have. And then finally, we use the past participle. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. I have worked. The first sentence. Can you repeat that? I have worked. Very good. You have done. Can you repeat that? Excellent. He has finished. Very good. She has played. She has played. It has rained. It has rained. We have joined. We have joined. They have started. They have started. Very good. Nice pronunciation. Just remember, when we have the words that end in ed, most of the time they sound like a t or d, right? So this is not worked. This is pronounced as worked, worked, finished, played. All right? So very good. Now, look at this. Every time we have he, she, or it, we are going to use has. If we have the word I, you, we, or they, we are going to use have. Okay? Very good. Now let's practice. Let's practice a little bit. We're going to complete the following sentences using present perfect. Look at this boy. He's very happy. In my case, right, let's pretend, let's imagine this is me. So I can say, I blank gap my homework. And we have the word finish. So what can we use in this case? Present perfect. First, we have to use have or has. Have or has. Have, right? In this case, I have, and the word finish is a regular verb, right? It's a regular verb. So we're going to use I have finished my homework. Very good. Now we have another one. It's the same sentence, but we have the word she, the pronoun she. She blank her homework. So we have to say she has finished her homework. Very good. Remember, have or has. Now we have another sentence. I to Brazil. And then we have the word be. What's the past participle of be? Be was where, and then, yes, been, right? Been or been, it depends. So I have been to Brazil, right? And what about she? She has been to Brazil. Very good. Excellent, right? I have been, she has been. Excellent. Now, what happens if the sentence is negative? What happens if I didn't go to Brazil? I don't know Brazil. How can we change the same sentence, she has been to Brazil, to negative? Any ideas? In this case, has is going to be our auxiliary verb. Our auxiliary verb. So we're going to say, she has not been to Brazil. Now, let's look at these sentences. They are in negative. This is the same formula, and we add the not. So I have not, you have not, he has not, she has not, it has not, we have not, they have not, and we use the past participle, right? Very good. Excellent. We can also use contractions, right? For example, haven't or hasn't. It's the same. You can decide if you like contractions, you can use contractions. If you don't like it, then you can say the full sentence. Let's practice negative sentences. All right. So the first one is my father, the car. What is he doing with the car? Oh, cleaning, washing. Okay. So we would say my father hasn't cleaned the car. My father hasn't cleaned the car. Very good. Now, look at this word. My mother. What is she doing? My mother, the dishes. In this case, if it's negative sentence, if it's a negative sentence in present perfect, we have to say, my mother hasn't washed the dishes. Hasn't washed the dishes. Very good. Excellent. Look at this. This is me, right? A negative sentence using the present perfect. What is that action? Oh, vacuum. All right. So I haven't vacuumed, or I have not vacuumed the floor. Very good. Excellent. Yes. Very, very good. Now, how can we ask questions? How do we ask questions? Let's take the same example, vacuum, right? I have vacuumed the floor. We have to start with have or has. Remember the color red, have or has. So we can say have or has, and then we need the subject or a pronoun. So have you or has she. Then we need, what do we need? Our verb. In this case, the verb is vacuumed with ed because it is a regular verb. Vacuumed. Have you vacuumed? Has she vacuumed? And then the rest of the sentence. Have you vacuumed the floor? Has she vacuumed the floor? Have you actually vacuumed the floor? Nope. Well, in my case, I don't have a vacuum cleaner, so I haven't vacuumed the floor. Excellent, very good. Now, how do we answer to these questions? If we have the question, have you vacuumed the floor? In my case, I say, yes, I have. If the answer is negative, then I have to say, no, I haven't. If we ask her, right, in this case, has she vacuumed the floor? We can say, yes, she has, or no, she hasn't. Remember that have and has, or haven't and hasn't, these are our auxiliary verbs. So we can put them in negative, we can put them in questions. Right? Very good. Over here we have our questions formula. Have or has at the beginning, and then we have the subject and the past participle. Of course, you can add extra information at the end if you want. Have I forgotten? Have you eaten? Has he slept? Has she finished? Has it rained? Have we failed? Have they reported? Right? So that's how it works. We can also create WH questions. WH questions. WH questions with where. For example, where have you eaten? WH questions with what. What have they eaten? Or with why. Why has he eaten? We can also create with when, with how, with who, how long, how many, how often, how well, etc., etc. When we answer these questions, we usually give long answers. Right? Where have you eaten? I have eaten in the supermarket, right? Or what have they eaten? They have eaten a sandwich, right? So we need to give a long answer. Very good. Now, when do we use the present perfect? We haven't talked about this. We have two cases. Look at this picture, the first picture, right? My sister has taken my dogs for a walk. Do I mention when this happened? When did this happen? We don't know, right? So in that case, this is going to be our first use. When we talk about completed actions in the past, but without saying when they happened. We don't know. We don't know exactly when they happened. So we're going to use the present perfect. For example, James has not finished cooking. We don't know when. We have met before. Probably, right? We have met before. We don't know when. We don't say when. And people have traveled to the moon. Excellent, right? We don't know when, or we didn't say when, so that's why we use present perfect. And then we have our second use, and this is to talk about experiences. Every time we're going to talk about experiences, we use present perfect. So for example, have you ever been to Brazil? He has never traveled by train. He has never traveled by train. Or I have been to France 3 times. So all these are experiences, right? Excellent. Very good. Now, let's practice. Now, we are going to practice here. We're going to do our first exercise. And we have number 1. We have the word you, and in parentheses or in brackets, we have the word study. You study for the test. We know that we have you. So, and it's a question. So we have to put, have you study? Study is a regular verb. So we have to put studied. Have you studied for the test? Yes. What is your answer? Yes, I have. Exactly, very good. Have you studied for the test? Yes, I have. What about the second one? Let's complete the second question and answer. In this case, we're starting with a WH question. So of course, we need a long answer. In this case, we have what and we have she. What she, the verb is cook for dinner. So what has she cooked? Cooked is a regular verb. What has she cooked? Excellent, very good. What did she cook? Oh, fish. So she has cooked fish. Very good. Excellent. Number 3, it says dad. Dad, the verb is buy the groceries yet. Oh, so this is not a WH question. This is a regular question, a yes or no question. So has dad, what is the past of buy? Yes, bought. Has dad bought the groceries yet? No, he no, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. He's at the store now. So he's buying it right now, right? He hasn't. Very good. Let's do our last exercise. We have the word they, and we have the verb arrive. So they arrived yet. This is a yes or no question. So have they arrived? What is the past participle of arrive? Exactly. Arrived, right? Have they arrived yet? No, they haven't. No, they haven't. This is how it works, right? It's very simple. For next class, I want you to do some exercises, right? We're going to check, actually. Your homework is to complete the conversation that you find here on page 145, right? 145. Look at the page so you don't forget, right? Look at the page. This is the exercise that we're going to check for our next lesson, right? You have to complete the conversation with the present perfect, and then we're going to listen and check, all right? So it's a conversation between Mom and Lynn, all right? So good luck, guys, and I will see you for our next lesson.